my beautiful friends, I wanted to come on and do a love reading, and I feel like this one might be a little bit complicated, is what I'm hearing. I was hearing runner chaser, and I was also hearing something about someone who has difficulty apologizing. So I wanted to come on and see what this is about. And keep in mind, when I use the label runner chaser, it's not meant to be a label. It's meant to be a word that explains a dynamic and what happens in these soul contracts where one of them is in that chaser energy and one of them is in runner energy, which describes, sometimes that can describe a codependent bond, or it can describe someone like the chaser who struggles with anxious attachment or people pleasing or accepting less than they deserve, while the runner experiences the same type of codependent attachment, except it causes them to avoid. So let's get into it. That's what I was hearing, runner chaser, and something about someone who has a difficult time apologizing. Maybe even apologizing in healthy ways, I'm hearing. So let's see what this is about. There goes my nose, runner energy. So I'm going to start with this deck to see what is going on here. So what collective am I channeling today? So this could have been a connection where you tried to make it work, or you kept trying to make it work with this person, but someone kept self-sabotaging. Maybe you've tried to repair this connection before, but were unable to. All right. I'm also experiencing some Phoenix energy with this. So maybe you have Phoenixed out of that energy. Or it could be that this person is Phoenixing. We'll have to see. I knew it. The runner on the bottom. And again, that's not meant to label anyone. That is a commonly used term to describe the dynamic, especially between twin flames. So fear of intimacy, running away, intensity and letting go, turmoil and fleeting. So I definitely feel like you were dealing with a runner. And sometimes we like to chase people who are trying to run from us, right? Sometimes it's because, like yesterday, I did a video about mother and father wounds. And sometimes it's almost like you are subconsciously trying to heal a wound within you where you want this runner, subconsciously, you want them to choose you, or you want them to show you the love that you were missing as a child. And again, I'm not saying you're doing this intentionally. This happens subconsciously from a wounded place. All right, so runner energy. And then we have not today. So there could be boundaries in place, or this person is still avoiding this conversation. And I was hearing something about maybe this person struggles with apologizing. There are lots of people, unhealed people, who struggle with apologizing because to admit that they did something wrong, they feel a sense of shame. That's their wounding. Doesn't make it okay. You could have, I was hearing something about Phoenix energy too, and the Phoenix talks about no longer making excuses for subpar behavior. So you could have stopped making excuses as to why you were chasing this person. This could be someone difficult, like has a hard time apologizing and just makes excuses or gets very defensive. And that stems, again, from a wounded place, an unhealed place. And maybe you thought you could help this person heal. But they need to heal on their own, is what I'm hearing. So let's see what's going on here. Heartbroken. So we do have heartbroken, deeply hurt and sad, feeling lost, grieving and despair, breakup. So clearly there was a breakup here, or there was an ending, or somebody self-sabotaged this connection. I was seeing the hammer. So again, you could have tried to repair this connection. We also have coffee cup, which talks about meeting and talking. So, I was hearing that someone wants to apologize. So it's very possible that this person is in the energy of wanting to have an honest conversation with you. You know, I'm seeing a card from a different deck that has a coffee cup on it, and it talks about healing begins with an honest conversation. And I feel like that's what needs to happen here in order to rebuild this connection. Because without that healing conversation where you both speak authentically and that person apologizes and you forgive them, maybe you need to apologize, you can't repair it. It would be like sticking a Band-Aid on it or sweeping things under the carpet. So whatever this is that you're going through, healing begins with an honest conversation. But we saw that runner and not today. So it's very possible that this person isn't ready to have this conversation yet, because maybe they're still in their ego. Maybe they're still denying that they did anything wrong. Maybe they're still in reflection and healing. But would you rather hear from them and repeat a cycle, or hear from them later and have a healing conversation and repair? Let's get a few more. All right. So we have girl with a snake. So that's what I mean. Like, you could have been an empath. You could have been, and that's not a person with a snake, okay? So it feels like that person with a snake describes kind of an empath narcissist paradigm, or you could even say a runner chaser paradigm, right? Where they're mistreating you or not seeing your worth or not giving you what you deserve, but you keep trying to make it work with them, even though they're not showing any signs of healing or change. So you keep giving them your time and energy, and then you start enabling that bad behavior because you keep going back to it. And I'm not saying that to trigger you. I'm not saying it's your fault you enabled this behavior. But you could have been that empath, and that's sometimes empaths, a lot of the time, they attract in, or it's in their soul contract to attract someone in with possibly narcissistic traits so that they can finally evolve like the phoenix. Because empaths can be very overgiving. They can be very patient. Empaths can see that, you know, the person they're dealing with is wounded and they feel like they can help them. And empaths sometimes stay in situations much longer than they should, enabling that behavior. And again, I'm not meaning to say it's your fault. So I feel like this connection was meant to help you set healthy boundaries, because it says enable boundaries. So you could have been enabling some unhealthy behavior, like I was hearing an apology where, not even an apology, where someone has a hard time taking accountability. Maybe they became very defensive, blamed you. And then we have death. So there was an ending here, but it says grow and transform. So there was an ending here so that you could grow and transform. What I find interesting about this card is it also talks about what is dead and no longer working is dead and no longer working. So through healing, you could be in the energy where, you know, you've put up boundaries. We've had 2 cards about boundaries, and you could be in that energy that I am no longer going to accept that type of behavior. I'm no longer going to enable that type of behavior. You know, the way that I sometimes explain it is like, this is something I teach my kids when they're picking on each other, right? And someone is doing something that hurts you or makes you uncomfortable. If you don't tell them it hurts you and makes you uncomfortable, they're going to keep doing it. If you don't set a boundary, they're going to keep doing it. And maybe you were afraid to speak up because you were afraid they were going to run. Maybe you did speak up. Hang on. maybe you did speak up and they got very defensive and blamed you and ran. Maybe you put up boundaries and they ran. And then we have coffin. New beginnings, liberation, reborn, and transition. And that's what, like, that reborn, transition, liberation is giving me phoenix energy. So I feel like you've left whatever this was, the version of this, in the past. And probably this person would have to show you that they've healed or that they're ready to take accountability for you to have a new beginning with them. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm hearing like you empowering yourself. Let's get 2 more. All right. Runner energy. My nose keeps running and running. Phoenix, I told you. Phoenix, I told you. New phase, rekindle, renew and growth, changed mind, rise from the ashes. Bark, bark, bark. All right, so yeah, Phoenix. That's what I was feeling. So I feel like you're phoenixing out of this chaser energy or people-pleasing energy, enabling that type of behavior, because the behavior that we accept is the way we communicate what we think we deserve. So I definitely think you've had a phoenix moment here. I was kind of feeling double phoenix energy though. So I feel like maybe your person could be going through phoenix energy as well. We have love call. So someone thinking about you, wanting to let you know. But this person is in for a surprise when they reach out to you and they see that you've empowered yourself, right? Because that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing you've empowered yourself. So when they reach out, they're going to get an elevated version of you, a more healthy version of you that has boundaries, that knows you deserve better. Again, with that death card, I just see you as, I'm seeing a line being drawn in the sand. And I'm hearing like, I will no longer enable bad behavior. Empowered empath, phoenix energy. All right. I want to see if spirit will tell me something about this person. Other than the runner energy, which I'm already getting. What do we need to know about this person who wants to inform you that they're thinking of you? This is another thing. Like maybe this is the type of energy. These came out together. So maybe in the past, when you started thinking about them, or your chaser wound started bubbling up again and you were thinking about them, maybe you were someone who would let them know, I'm thinking of you. But I think that you're out of that energy. That even if you think of them, you know you don't need to let them know that, right? But again, I think that when they come in, they're going to see the phoenixed version of you. And that you've changed your mind about what you're willing to accept. Boundaries. 2 cards for this person specifically. Show me 2 cards for this person specifically. All right, so we do have not enough. So that's what I mean. This person was acting from a wounded place, just like, again, the label runner chaser is more so explaining a dynamic. But you probably were enabling this because you were lacking self-confidence or you had a fear of abandonment. And I feel like the way this person treated you triggered maybe your lack of self-confidence, or how they treated you made you question yourself, or This says lacking confidence. But this card is about them. So this is someone who was acting from a wounded place. They were acting from a place of not feeling good enough. And it's very interesting when you dive deep into these wounds, how they cause us to subconsciously act in relationships. Most of the time, wounds stemming from mother and father wounds. And again, it happens subconsciously, or someone with a fear of abandonment will subconsciously push something that feels safe away. Or someone who, has a mother or father wound can stay in bad situations, hoping it happens subconsciously. Just like if you were chasing, you were probably doing it subconsciously. You probably thought you were just trying to repair things, or you were just trying to help this person. And that runner-chaser label, again, it describes a dynamic. It describes a trauma response. So this person probably had parental wounding. Probably you did too. But clearly they self-sabotaged this. We have camera. So these cards are about them, right? So they're lacking confidence to come towards you right now. And I keep hearing something about this person has a hard time apologizing, or they make excuses. It's because they probably feel a lot of shame and don't know what to do with that shame. We have camera reminiscing, 6 of Cups energy. So they're thinking about you. They're probably looking at pictures of you, replaying events in their mind. Actually, at the very beginning of this reading, we had replaying events. So I feel like this person is replaying events of the past where they were showing up with ego and fear, and they were showing up lacking confidence, and how maybe their actions made you feel not enough. And that's the thing, when somebody mistreats us or somebody runs from us, kind of our first instinct is to think, there must be something wrong with me. And this is why I always say it's not a reflection of you. It's about what's going on in them. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of the healing that they would have to do, or the accountability they would need to take, or the shadow work they would need to do to be with you. Especially now that you've evolved like the phoenix. This is good. The butterfly, evolving and growth. Next phase, healing inner child. This is your person. So your person is starting to heal their inner child. Starting to prepare for the next phase. You're both entering new phases here, both of you. So you're both elevating. I'm seeing, though, that you're at different levels of elevation. So you probably were at this point a while ago. And probably when you hit this butterfly is about transition. So this probably happened to you when you first separated from this person. You went through your butterfly, your metamorphosis, where you started realizing you had inner child wounding. And maybe this person, I was seeing that hammer. So maybe even though you were working on your wounding, maybe you and this person tried to repair things. So I feel like you went through this a while ago. And probably this, healing the inner child, understanding yourself, is what gave you the power to phoenix out of this. And the phoenix is about getting burned over and over and over again until you've had enough. So this person, like, you could have kept sticking your hand in this fire, right? Until you phoenixed out of it. There are some people out there that are they have secure attachments and they've been healing, or maybe they didn't experience the wounding that get burned once and that's enough for them. But there are other people who struggle with wounding and self-confidence that need to burn themselves over and over again before they learn their lesson. So I see you both elevating, but you're at different stages, right? I feel like you would have had to go through this butterfly phase in order to phoenix. So I kind of see you up here and them down here. Not that you're better than them or you think you're better than them. I just mean right now you're on different... You're at different... How can I say that? You're at different stages of the healing journey, 111 on the timer as I said that. So, what I like is runner and chaser didn't come out. But runner was on the bottom when we first started. You know, maybe you put up boundaries and this person's ego got bruised, right? I think this person is thinking about your boundaries. You know, with that butterfly card, how I was talking about, I think you went through it sooner than they did. It is hard to come together on the same vibration when one person is healing and the other isn't. And I feel like maybe your person wasn't. So maybe you outgrew them energetically. All right, I want to get an animal card for each of you. My nose won't stop running. Animal card for each of you. Let's see. We have the panther, which is it's like the annihilation of anything unnecessary. It's like towers, divine intervention. We have the vulture. What you thought was a tragedy was actually a blessing in disguise. So maybe at first you thought this was a tragedy and you were really hard on yourself and you internalized it. But this was actually a blessing. Because as long as you keep giving to that energy, that word enable, it's not going to change, right? The definition of insanity, is this right? Is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We have the nightingale. Blocked throat chakra. And I have a whole book here that I've been talking about and reading from, The Sacred Woundings, that explain all of these and how they all stem from wounding. So I feel like maybe your person has a blocked throat chakra, isn't ready to communicate yet. It's possible that you had a really hard time putting up boundaries. Like I see the Queen of Swords. So you could have had a really hard time speaking your authentic truth, putting up boundaries, speaking authentically. Because maybe you were afraid if you spoke authentically, this person would do a runner, and maybe they did. But maybe it was a blessing in disguise. Because anyone who's going to run from your boundaries is not safe to be in your energy, right? We have the whale. That's interesting. So the whale is actually about, you could be someone has healthy communication. And maybe you were dealing with someone who didn't. All right, let's cut the deck, and I'm going to get a card for each of you. So we have the hawk. So you could be receiving messages from the divine right now, or you could be a messenger. The nightingale and the hawk, you could be a messenger of the divine. So you could have a gift that you're meant to share with the world, your mission, especially if you're divine feminine. And you know, I don't believe that only divine feminines have missions. So if you feel like you have a calling, by sharing your voice, sharing your words, whether through speaking, singing, writing, start sharing them, because you could be a messenger of divinity. All right, but this is also about the winds are shifting. There's a change. There's changes happening, even if you can't see them. All right, so let's see. I'm getting a bit of that Phoenix energy again. All right, let's get some cards for you first. Cards for my bestie. Cards for my bestie. All right, you could definitely be getting downloads right now, or little hits of inspiration. The firefly is kind of like, I see it as your soul spark, trying to spark. Like I'm seeing, you know, on Survivor when they're trying to make fire and they're like bashing at the flint. I feel like you could be getting intuitive downloads right now, or your soul spark could be flickering. And the thing about the firefly is that if you don't catch it, it goes out. So right now it could just sound like a whisper, or it could just sound like you should write a book, or you should share your voice. There's something in you flickering. And I'm seeing it's your soul spark. It's maybe your creativity. Maybe your soul wants you to do something creative. Again, it's almost like I'm seeing like someone trying to start a fire. And if you don't grab it when it's flickering, it goes out, but it comes back. But that's what I'm seeing here with the firefly. You could be, just the cards I was seeing, the nightingale, the hawk, you could be feeling very inspired to work towards some sort of mission or your dream. You could be creative. We have the rabbit. Interesting. You could be... That's really interesting. You could be struggling with a negative mindset right now. Even though you're empowering yourself, you could have a mindset that this person is never going to come back, or you could feel afraid of sharing your voice. It's funny how sometimes spirit, when I channel you, starts talking about mission. Because again, it's like there's something flickering in you, an inner knowing. But this does talk about being afraid. You could even be, like, if that's not resonating with you, August 21st could be symbolic randomly. Okay. But the dates that pop into my mind, this could also be about what you're going through right now, because you're going through a transition where you've phoenixed. So maybe your soul, your intuition, your higher self is trying to tell you you did the right thing, but at times you could be imagining the worst. I'm more so hearing it's something about your creativity, though, being afraid to put yourself out there. But for some of you, like I said, it could be that your intuition is telling you you did the right thing. Spirit is telling you you did the right thing. But you could have a fear, what if they never come back? Well, if they never come back, then it wasn't aligned for you. They weren't safe to be in your energy. The people who are meant to be in our energy will respect our boundaries. They won't run away. They'll honor those boundaries. And we have the elephant, which I really like. And I was thinking about it because I'm wearing my elephant necklace. So we have earth, air, and fire here. But the elephant is about, look at you holding that flame, so you could definitely be a counterpart. The broken tusk shows me that you've been through challenges. Maybe in this connection. That's weird. The song Teenage Dirtbag just popped into my head. Why did that pop into my head? Teenage Dirtbag? Anyway, so you could have, with this broken tusk, you could have gotten really hurt in this connection. You could have... Oh, that makes sense. Hang on, Spirit told me something. Or this could be from your childhood. Again, I talked about it yesterday in a video. But the way we were raised, the trauma that we endured at a young age affects us for the rest of our life until we heal it. And it really affects the way we show up in relationships. But this is overcoming obstacles and trusting that if you're going down the wrong path, Spirit, the elephant, puts obstacles in your place. So if you're working towards your muggle job or a job that doesn't fulfill you, and you keep experiencing tower moments like loss of clients or not being able to get business or being laid off, those tower moments are being put in front of you to realign you on your path. Even in this connection, if you were going down the wrong path, enabling unhealthy behavior, feeling like you could heal this person, empath, it's very possible that tower moments, blockages were put in the way to realign you to your higher self. And I'm hearing something else now. Empaths that struggle with this dynamic, they have a gift. Empaths are gifted. They can help heal people. So maybe Spirit realigned you so that you could help the people you're meant to help, the people who want the help, the people you don't need to chase and convince to help. And I'm not talking about love interests. I'm talking about like mission work. Now, the other thing I heard is, remember how I said that love call and Phoenix came out together? So sometimes you could feel with these two cards from a fearful place or a subconscious wounded place, you could have these little moments of fear that bubble up inside of you because you're still healing. Maybe I should reach out. Maybe I should check in. Maybe I should tell them I'm thinking about them. But it's coming from a place of fear, is what I'm hearing. So you could be feeling inspired to reach out, but it's coming from a fearful place. Because wounds don't heal overnight. And sometimes when we're healing our wounds, we keep being given lessons so we can continue to heal them. Sometimes wounds that we thought we healed come back later, to bite you in the butt. And again, I've said it before, listen to what's going on with your body. I always listen to my body. If I have random knee pain, I look it up. What does that mean spiritually? If you have pain on one side of your body, what does that mean? If you have a muscle spasm, what does that mean? If you hear ringing, what does that mean? And I always tell you guys, your body communicates with you. And I never want you to not go to the doctor and get checked out. But just like angel numbers give us messages, or symbols give us messages, so does our body. Anyway. All right, let's see what's going on with this person. Their energy. I'm hoping for that Phoenix, but we'll see. Show me this person's energy. Show me this person's energy. Show me this person's energy. One more. I want to get 3. I want to keep it even. Okay, so we've got the fire ant here. So this person is thinking about a situation from the past that burned them, or I don't think it's about you. They could have felt like you burned them by putting up boundaries and not enabling them anymore. But this person seems to be stewing about an unresolved issue from the past. Overthinking about an unresolved issue from the past. And that could be you. It could also be from their childhood. We have the mouse, anxiety, overthinking, fear. And remember, we had that not enough card come out. So they are lacking confidence right now. They are feeling anxious, possibly about approaching you, possibly that, something feels final. Very anxious, your person. So they could be anxious avoidant. Again, those wounds describe why people operate in relationships the way they do. And it's not just about the person you're connected to, it's about you. That mother-father wound, I think that's where a lot of it stems from. So we have the hummingbird, which is interesting because in the upright, it's positive, it's full of energy. So right now this person is not feeling very positive that they can make things right. So I feel like this is someone who is realizing their own behavior here. Because if this person, think about it, they're thinking about, they could be watching you, hiding in the shadows, the raccoon. So they could be like watching you from the shadows. But I feel like unresolved issue from the past, right? They're thinking about this and they're feeling not positive about coming back towards you. They're feeling anxious, which means that butterfly, they've had some sort of realization about how they treated you. They're lacking positivity and happiness in their life. And we have the beaver in reverse. So this is someone who feels worn out. And healing it can be very hard on the body, especially when you start to realize how your wounds made you act. So that's what I mean. It's like you're in 2 different energies. And maybe some of your anxiety with the bunny, that little flash of maybe I should reach out or I'm never going to hear from them again. You could be picking up on that energy from them. But the elephant, keep moving forward on your own path. You're on different stages on your paths right now is what I'm seeing. All right. You know what? I want to see... I'm just going to take those cards out. I want to see what energy you should work on embodying right now from the animal deck. What energy should you work on embodying? The whale, beautiful. The golden egg, beautiful. Focus on your awakening. I'm going to explain these. We have the whale. So right now, focus on... You could focus on, this does have to do with communication, healthy communication. It's kind of giving me Queen of Cups energy. It's giving me Queen of Cups energy. So focus on Focus on the things that feel like they're in flow with your life. If you feel resistance, it means it's not aligned with you. If you have to fight for it or cling to it or chase it, it's not aligned for you. So focus on the things that energetically flow in your life and release the ones that don't. The golden egg, it talks about being quiet. So really embrace this hermit energy, embrace your awakening, higher level of consciousness. Yes, I haven't seen this card in a while. I've missed you, lion. Yes. Focus on your patience. And I know being patient is hard, but focus on patience in all areas of your life. 111 on the timer again. So where are you struggling to have patience? Probably not just with this connection, it's probably with other things. Focus on your spiritual and personal growth. Because that's the lion. The lion is someone who's dedicated to their spiritual and personal growth. There goes my phoenix energy again, bubbling up on my left side. See how it's only on my left side? So the left side is your feminine side. Look. See how it's only on this side? Your body communicates to you. So focus on healing your feminine energy. If you have a mother wound, perhaps you struggle with feminine energy. That is so crazy how it's only on my left side. Look at that. So focus on healing your divine feminine energy. Dedicate yourself to spiritual growth and transformation right now. Try not to think about what this person is doing. Try not to worry about it. You're on your own journey. You're on your own path right now. And I can already see a change in your person because of the changes in you. We have the crow, Mr. Crow. Trust your intuition. It's given me High Priestess energy. Focus on your intuitive powers. Trusting your intuition. Every time you trust your intuition, it gets stronger and stronger every time. So really focus on your intuition right now. You could even have psychic abilities with the crow. Focus on your mission. Beautiful. Now, look at that, it's gone. As soon as I put those cards down. So, I want to look at the next stage in your person's energy. So what are they? They had the butterfly, so they're transitioning. What are they transitioning into? What are they transitioning into? Hang on, one more. Oh my goodness. So they are transitioning into awakening. Shedding the older version of themselves. Think about that think about that card, person with a snake. So they're shedding that past. That's what they're moving into. They're moving into awakening. They're moving into shedding the past version of themselves, maybe even awakening to spirituality. We have the swan. Connecting to their intuition, reflection, healing. So just let them. They're transitioning into some pretty amazing energy here. And it's scary. You can see it with the mouse card. They're afraid. They're afraid to look at themselves. I think they've already started looking at themselves and it's scaring them. And we have the black egg, the truth. I want to look at the black egg for you. I just want to make sure I'm giving you the... I just want to make sure. The black egg. Speaking from an authentic voice, the truth. So, they're going to be awakened to the truth of the things they need to shed, the things they need to reflect on. Inside of it resides no confusion, excuses, small talk, noise, or lies. And remember I specifically said excuses, someone who has a hard time apologizing. Blah, blah, blah. When the energy of the black egg is not yet accessed, we speak from an unsure place. We say things others want to hear, gossip, or repeat stories to justify our subpar behavior. That's really interesting because that's what I was hearing, but for some reason I thought that was on the Phoenix card. We also have the bee. So the bee is about working. So transitioning into working on themselves is what I'm hearing. And by realizing when the bee becomes overwhelmed or tired, they usually sting people. So reflecting on the way they have hurt others. So just let them, I say it, let this one cook a little while longer. Let them transition into this. Again, you may be feeling this weird little flash because of fear of wanting to reach out to them. Maybe you're looking for some validation. Subconsciously, you could be looking for validation stemming from a mother or father wound, that they still think of you or that they're still there energetically. You know, that love call, thinking of you and informing you. So maybe subconsciously, you want to let them know you're thinking about them because you're searching for that validation that they still think of you. You don't need that validation. Your validation comes from within. And they are going through a transition. So just let them do it. All right, so tarot time. All right, we've got judgment. It's their wake-up call. Self-evaluation. Resurrection, it's giving me Phoenix energy as well. But this is their wake-up call. And you can't force somebody to have you can't force it. The universe is giving them their wake-up call, just like you had your wake-up call. We've got the Three of Pentacles in reverse. So this person was not showing up as a good teammate and love to you. What do you deserve? You deserve a good teammate and love. We have the moon, shadow work, fear, uncertainty, intuition, divine feminine energy. So again, maybe because of fear, you want some sort of validation subconsciously. But with the moon card, Spirit's saying it might not make sense right now, but it will when things come into the light. We also have a full moon coming up. And we have the Tower, which is what I was talking about with the Panther and the Vulture. So what happens is once you put up boundaries and you stop accepting less than you deserve, until you do, Tower moments, divine intervention, and then this person probably has Tower moments following them around. That's their wake-up call. It's divine intervention. The elephant, I was talking about how the elephant, if you're going the wrong way, the elephant places a tower in your path to redirect you. Because they can't tell you you're going the wrong way. You could be dealing with a Gemini. All right, Six of Cups in reverse. Someone can't let you go. Someone is thinking about the good times with you, which, if this person, we saw it, right? When I pulled cards for them, replaying past events, thinking of you, reminiscing. If this was someone still in that ego, still in that defensiveness, that black egg. I see the black egg. Think about it. They got the butterfly card. So it's like they're breaking down in that cocoon. How the caterpillar breaks down into goo. They're in the goo stage. Do you want goo? The movie Speed just came to my mind as well. Maybe that's symbolic. Jack, was that Jack? Kate? Was her name Kate in that? I can't even remember. No, Annie. It was Annie. Anyway, so if this person was still in defensiveness, anger, they wouldn't have this card in the reverse, right? Because the Six of Cups in the reverse is very symbolic of someone who is thinking about happy memories, reminiscing about happy memories. And clearly, I've brought it up, they have childhood wounds that affect, oh my goodness, childhood wounds that affect them, just like you probably do. We have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So this person isn't feeling stable. I feel like this person was resisting healing. I think they were resisting healing. They feel like they missed an opportunity. Three of Wands. They feel stuck on how to come towards you, right? There's a lack of growth and progress. And maybe that's what you were seeing in this connection. There was a lack of 222. There was a lack of growth. 222 talks about healthy partnerships. So maybe there was a lack of healthy partnership, or there was a lack of growth. I said it earlier, I heard my guide say, a connection can't work if only one of you is healing. You know? So perhaps this connection became, you saw there was no growth, that you were growing, but they weren't. And then we have the Ten of Wands. So it feels like Spirit has put burden after burden after burden on this person's back, trying to get them to wake up. That wake-up call. All right. You know, that book talked about if we could heal the father wound, it would change our world. Because so many of us have these wounds. All right, let's get a few cards for you. Show me the viewer. Judgment. Your awakening. Temperance. Beautiful. You could be feeling a little lonely right now, though. Healing, awakening, lonely journey. Which is why I love this community, because we have each other. We're not alone. Judgment. So you are doing a lot of self-evaluation right now, thinking about the choices you've made, going through an awakening, going through a renewal in your own energy. We have the Eight of Swords. So maybe at times you do feel trapped, right? Maybe sometimes you do overthink. But one of my favorite meanings for the Eight of Swords is also about the trauma that keeps us stuck, the trauma that can be healed, that keeps us trapped in a wounded place. So with Judgment, you could be doing a lot of self-evaluation about that trauma or those wounds. And, you know, if you want to change the love that you're calling in, the best thing you can do is heal these wounds. So, I think you're doing a lot of self-evaluation, but you could still struggle with overthinking, trapped in the mind, limiting beliefs. So maybe you have a limiting belief about your own abilities, or your mission, or yourself. Maybe you're, you know, self-limiting beliefs, another thing that stems from childhood wounding. It's just fascinating to me. Ace of Wands. So that's that energy that I was talking about with the Firefly. You're getting these little hits of inspiration, but you could have limiting beliefs about following them. So maybe your intuition is telling you to heed your inner calling, your mission, judgment. Heed the inner call. What is your soul telling you to do? Your soul keeps sparking up, keeps sending you a message of what you need to do. But maybe you're stuck in limiting beliefs. Oh, I could never do that. Nobody wants to hear from me. I can't help anyone, or whatever your limiting beliefs are. It's something you have to overcome before you go towards your mission. I had to overcome it. And Temperance. So you're re-examining the priorities you've chosen, whether that's friendship, love, work, your healing, trying to be patient. Let's see your person. Let's see your person. You could really still be missing this person, though, or feeling lonely. And that's part of the hermit journey. When you go through the hermit journey, it can be very isolating and lonely, but it teaches you that being on your own is okay. There's nothing to fear in being alone. So one of the messages of the hermit card is never... try not to see this period of you being alone or unlovable, and take this period of time to do the self-reflection and healing that you need to do. Let's see your person's energy. So we have Sagittarius, Virgo. I was seeing water, fire. We have everybody, is what I'm hearing. Show me their person's energy. All right. So we've got the Seven of Wands in reverse. We've got the Seven of Cups. Your person is... they're in their head. This person is very confused right now. Think about how it felt when you started awakening or started healing. It's very confusing. So right now, this person is kind of, think about what they're transitioning into. The black egg and the swan is about their intuition and seeing the truth. So right now, they're having realizations about an unresolved issue in the past, and it's causing them a lot of, confusion. We have the Page of Cups here in reverse. And the Page of Cups in reverse shows someone who's been neglecting their inner child. Neglecting doing that inner work on their childhood wounds. We've got the Three of Swords, so they're in pain. I just heard an old version of them is breaking down and a new one is being revealed, because look at this glass. It reminds me of a channeled message. I can see it on my table, shattered. Old habits are breaking down and a new version of them is being revealed. Which is kind of like, again, you probably know exactly what it's like to start awakening. It's confusing. This person doesn't want to make any decisions right now. I think this person struggles with a fear of vulnerability too, or is afraid to tell you what they're going through. Because again, some people have this energy where when they hurt someone, they feel shame and they don't want to admit it, or they don't want to be vulnerable about it, or it's as if apologizing or admitting that they did something unhealthy makes them a bad person. It doesn't. So going through pain here. It's 1:11 in the afternoon. But for someone to heal and forgive themselves, they have to go through this Three of Swords energy. Heartbreak, pain, separation. That's what they're going through right now. You know, I do feel like this person was defensive. All right, I want to see how they're feeling about you. How are they feeling about you? Queen of Cups, I said it with the whale. So they feel like you are someone very caring, compassionate, loving, giving, which, if this person has a mother wound, they would have ran from that energy because it was unfamiliar. Unconsciously from a wounded place. For how this person feels about you, they feel like you're highly intuitive. Again, very loving. They feel like you're focusing on your self-love right now, or yourself. You're protecting your cup right now. A healer. We have the Ace of Swords. So this person is having breakthroughs about you right now. Realizations, epiphanies about you. And we have the Nine of Swords. Makes sense with the mouse. So they are feeling anxious about communicating with you, which means it's not the right time. Their body is telling them it's not the right time. They're losing sleep over this. I feel like they could be having a lot of these realizations in the middle of the night. You know, in the middle of the night, that's when the veil between us and spirit is very thin. So if you find yourself waking up in the middle of the night, what's your intuition telling you when you wake up? You know? What are you thinking about when you wake up? What number on the clock are you seeing? Look it up. Anyway, this person having like major epiphanies about you, but afraid to reach out. So wait until they're ready. How is this person feeling about you? What was that? So the King of Cups was there. Five of Cups, regret, sadness, remorse. Look at them drowning in their emotions. When they think of you, it's triggering. It's triggering them. Maybe this is someone who could always like shut themselves off emotionally when they broke up with someone. But they're feeling a lot of sadness here. We also have Six of Pentacles. So that is an energy of feeling like they want to reach out to you. They could even feel like you could help them heal. They're seeing you as the Queen of Cups, and with the Six of Pentacles, they could see you as someone that could potentially help them heal. I'm also hearing something about regret for not giving you reciprocal energy. So don't reach out. Let them have this realization. One more for how they're feeling about you. One more. Two of Pentacles in reverse. They feel like they neglected you. And that you're not focused on them right now. They feel like you're their wish fulfillment, Nine of Cups. Maybe they feel like you're happier without them. That's victim mentality, or that's their wounds speaking, right? Lack of confidence. All right. So I want to look at where you are. 444, as I said that, where you are on your journey, which means you're being protected right now, 444. Where is the viewer on their healing journey? Queen of Wands, nice. Working on your confidence, glowing up, working on your connection to spirit. Learning how to empower yourself in your own independence. possibly working on something creative that's part of your mission. 8 of Pentacles. Somebody's working on their mission. Yeah, you. 8 of Pentacles. You're investing in yourself. You're committed to yourself and your self-growth. 8 of Pentacles, you could be working on a project. You could be working on self-mastery. So something that you do, you could be trying to really hone your skills in it. You could be thinking about turning one of your hobbies into your mission. You're committed to yourself right now. And I feel like in the past, you were wanting this person to commit to you. And now you're committing to yourself. That's very nice energy. You could be working on a laptop. We have the Hermit. Now it's in the upright. So again, I feel like maybe at first this Hermit energy was very isolating. It made you feel lonely. You know, you just had your heart broken or you had your heart broken is what I was seeing. But now you're learning, you know, there is something here about somebody working on their mission. Your soul purpose, the Hermit. So you're doing a lot of soul searching, you're working on yourself, you're committed to your healing journey. And what energy should you embody? The Lion, someone who is dedicated to spiritual growth and personal growth, personal development. That's you. And the Nightingale, maybe your mission. One more card. 3 of Cups. Interesting. So where are you on your healing journey with the 3 of Cups? You could definitely be working on some sort of hobby, but you're working on giving your energy to more fulfilling things, maybe making friends, maybe socializing, celebrating the small wins, celebrating yourself. You know, the 3 of Cups does talk about working on your hobbies, potentially turning a hobby into your mission. I like where you are. Let's see where they are. I know I got your energy and their energy, but I wanted to specifically ask where you both are on this journey. 10 of Pentacles, you could be working towards your mission could bring you long-term stability and financial freedom. All right. Where are they on their healing journey? Where are they on their healing journey? Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh, wow. Okay. Makes sense. So right now they're independent. 9 of Pentacles. So they're in an independent energy. Just like you have Hermit, you're both in independent energies, 9. So we have Strength in reverse. Makes sense. They're struggling with their self-confidence. They have a lot of self-doubt here. Think about your energy. You had the 8 of Swords come up. So if that comes over you, it could be that you're picking up on this person's energy. But anyway, this person, bruised ego, they could have had their ego bruised, right? You could have triggered their ego here. But this person is still in an energy of not... What the heck was that? Hang on. I have no idea what that crash was. It was in my room, but nothing has fallen. That was strange. Or was it magical? So think about that first deck we got. They are still lacking confidence, which means it's not yet the right time. They've still got to work on their confidence. We've got the 10 of Swords in reverse. Learning lessons. Healing. Wanting to put the connection back together, but lacking the confidence to do so. we've got the Lovers. And I talk about this. Lovers energy is not easy. It's why a lot of people think that when they encounter Lovers energy, it's just not meant for them, because it can be triggering, because it triggers not only an intense love connection, but it triggers 111. It triggers self-love, the connection you have with yourself, making difficult choices. The shadow of the Lovers talks about someone who knows they need to take accountability but is afraid to do so. So this person is having realizations about the pain that they caused, about how they need to take accountability. But strength in reverse shows me they're not brave enough to do so yet. And think about, they probably excuse a lot of their behavior, not just with you, with other people, with that black egg. And they're about to transition into that black egg where they stop making excuses and they're honest with themselves and they see the truth. It's funny, I was watching Survivor last night. There was a season I told you guys you should watch or I asked if you remembered it, but there was this season where I talked about how this guy feels defensive, so he starts, hang on, maybe this resonates with you, but he was feeling defensive, so he started making personal attacks on this woman there who had childhood wounding. And he started saying, like, it's no wonder nobody wants you and you have no family, like nobody in the States misses you, because he was feeling defensive. So he started making a personal attack on her, and it triggered her because she came from a toxic dynamic where the reason she doesn't have family is because she grew up in probably an abusive household. So it really triggered her. But anyway, I was watching this season again with my kids, and there's this guy who cannot take accountability. And when he says he's sorry, he instead of saying he's sorry, he starts justifying why he did it and essentially blaming the other person. And one of the emotionally healthier men on the tribe, the same one who stepped up and said to the other guy, it's not right how you're treating that woman. And he walked her out of that situation. He said, you don't need to sit here and take this. That same guy said to this guy who can't apologize, the guy who was not wanting to apologize, he's like, okay, fine, I'll just go say I'm sorry, and then I'll tell her why I did it. I'll explain. And this healthier guy was like, don't even do that. He's like, just apologize. Just validate her feelings. You don't have to explain why or blame her. Just take accountability. Anyway, that came to my mind when I was thinking about that card. All right. So this is one of those readings where I don't really want to get intentions and actions, because this is more so about where you are in your path. And again, clearly this person needs to apologize. Well, I'll get their intentions, but I'm not getting their actions, because you're transitioning into the Lion, which is about patience. But let's see what their intentions are when they think about the future. What are their intentions when they think about the future? Yeah, Four of Swords. So, they want to reignite something with you here. They do intend to come out of isolation. This is release from isolation. The break ends after they heal, wanting to reignite passions, wanting to stop withdrawing. So they do have the intention, that they don't want to. I don't think this is the end for them. And we have the Empress, which for intentions talks about a healthy connection, a healthy, sensual, committed connection. So their intentions are to nurture this. So that's good. But clearly they need more time to heal. So let's just get a few channeled messages. Well, let's see what's your advice? What can you focus on? What can you focus on right now? What is your advice? What is your advice? So there could be something about Nine of Wands is an energy of keep going. Don't give up. You're wounded and weary from battle, but you persevere with hope and determination. It can also be about boundaries. So keep setting healthy boundaries, not just with this person, but with other people in your life. People who don't show up as a good teammate in love, right? Who don't value your time and energy. We have the Two of Wands. So this is about making decisions, and it's about leaving your comfort zone. So for some of you, maybe not having validation that this person still thinks about you is outside of your comfort zone. Maybe for some of you, going after your mission outside of your comfort zone. The Two of Wands is also about looking at the patterns stemming from baggage, Nine of Wands, identifying the patterns that come maybe from childhood wounding that have prevented you from being able to put up boundaries, or that have kept you in situations where the people you're connected to aren't showing up as a good teammate, whether that's work, friendship, love. There's a reason we call in the energy we do. And again, our wounds hold the key to understanding it, I'm telling you. So, and follow your inner guidance with this compass. Follow your inner guidance. Trust your intuition. What's it telling you to do? For some of you, it looks like your intuition is telling you to put up boundaries or keep boundaries in place. All right, a few channeled messages from this person. What does this person want to say to you? All right. You are very special to me, and I am planning on taking action to prove how important you really are in my life. I know you can't read it, so I won't even show it to you. You believed in me when no one else did. You showed me compassion that I couldn't show myself, and for that I am grateful. And think back, how do they feel about you? Very compassionate, Queen of Cups. Very first deck, the empath. I talked about how empaths can be very passionate, can be very compassionate and patient with people. I didn't have the best upbringing, and my only vision of a relationship was an unhealthy one. I'm telling you, our mother and father wounds, they affect us for the rest of our lives until we heal them. My focus has always been my career. I'm trying to provide you the life you deserve. So this could have been someone who was more focused on their career than love. And guess what? Stems from a wound. That might stem from a father wound. I read your messages, but I am unsure how to respond, so I just stay quiet. So maybe the last time you spoke your truth to this person, or maybe when you put up boundaries, they went quiet. I ask myself, and this comes from the energy they're in right now, strength in reverse. It's showing lack of confidence. I ask myself if I am who you truly deserve. You deserve the world and more. So clearly this person is seeing your value. Maybe it took all of this to see it, which in a perfect world it wouldn't, but we don't live in a perfect world, and clearly we're dealing with like some core wounding here. One more. Thank you, Spirit. And then Spirit closed the deck on me. So you've opened my eyes. You've opened my eyes to what is really important. I am beginning to realize that you were right. I don't know why I hold it up. You can't read it. So you were right about something, but probably at the time they didn't want to hear it. I've made peace with my past, and I am working on bringing balance into our connection. I feel like they're still working towards that, making peace with their past. That comes with healing and acknowledging how some of our wounds have hurt others, or how some of our wounds have made us hurt ourselves. You have strength. This is very like divine feminine energy. You have the ability to tame the beast in me. You're the one who's come to break the spell, Beauty and the Beast. So I feel like you are the only one that could trigger this person into an awakening. That's interesting. For us to be together, it would require me to leave everything behind, and I am not ready to lose what I've built. So for some of you, this person has a fear of giving up an older version of themselves, or the independent lifestyle they've built for themselves, or a job, or a home. Anyway. All right, I'm going to leave it here, my friends, but I am sending you lots of love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.